welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time to check us out. If you could, real quick, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. That would help me out quite a bit and help me hit my goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm getting real close, so I appreciate you if you could subscribe or get someone else to do it to subscribe if you've already subscribed. I would appreciate that. Now, my guest today, Mr. Jim Florentine. He's a legendary comedian, actor, TV host, podcaster, author, and I mean, you've seen him on Crank Yankers, the show Louie, the movies Beer League and Trainwreck, and of course, the co-host of that metal show. And he has a new stand-up comedy special out right now called Bite the Bullet, and you can watch that on YouTube for free. I'm going to put the link in the show notes, so you just scroll right down, click it, boom, it'll open right up. It should be free. It's professional quality HD video and sound and hilarious content. And to me, it's like very refreshing because I feel like so many comedians now are trying to be PC and fit in. And I think that's ruining comedy personally. And Jim is old school and he just says what he thinks. And I appreciate that a lot more. So I think it's more original and more unique. So, and of course it's just funny, you know, and we're going to discuss all this in the interview. Here you go, Jim Florentine. Okay, please welcome Jim Florentine to the Chuck Shoot Podcast. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for finally doing this. I've been trying to get you for a couple of years now, but I think you did you recently switch PR people?
I did have one, but then I didn't have a publicist for a couple of years, and then I just wound up getting another one now. So.
Oh, okay. Do you like doing a lot of podcasts though, or do you try to be more selective?
I don't care. It doesn't matter. You know, if I got nothing to promote, then it's like, you know, I don't. But when I got something to promote, yeah, it's always good to do.
Yeah, let's talk about the new special. I watched this. I watched a little bit last night, and then I finished it today. It's so refreshing I love that you're not woke. It's like, which some people would say, oh, that's like old school, but I almost feel like that's like refreshing in a way.
Look, I've been a nightclub comic for a long time. I've never changed. I still like the same music I liked when I was a kid. So it's like, to me, I'm like, I don't have to change with the times. And people that are always offended, the so-called, you know, on social media, they never come to the comedy clubs anyway. So like, they're not even a cross in my thought in my mind. You know,
right.
And they're not coming to the comedy clubs now either. Like everyone, it's just some joke that gets out there that people would never come to a comedy club, that have no sense of humor, that don't understand stand-up, that get offended. So I just always been doing my thing. And I'm just like, and people, you know, even more so these days, love coming to the clubs and hearing someone that's saying something that's a little edgy because they're so sick of walking around on eggshells, worrying about what they can laugh at and what they can't and what they could say.
No, totally. And like you said too, I think you said in another interview that the people do their homework now. So like they know what to expect. They're not just going to walk into your show like they would do. They're either going to have known you from previous things or they watch a couple clips before and see what you're like.
Yeah, before we just get like a bunch of like bachelor parties or bachelorette parties, you know, 12 girls, you know, with, you know, goofy, you know, stuff on their head and lights and all that, sit right in the front and don't research the comic. Like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's offensive, you know. We get that all the time. They would like leave halfway through the show and all that stuff, but that doesn't really happen that much anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. I mean, do you find it's easier to headline now and stuff too with all this YouTube and everything? People can find you a lot more, and like I said, like research the clips and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's great exposure if you could figure out a way to get your stuff out there where people could see it. You know, that's always potluck, but you know, you could just promote yourself and do it all yourself, which is great.
Yeah. So how did you were you try to shop this special, or you were originally just decided I'm putting this on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, that's what all the comics are doing now. If you can't get a Netflix special, which, you know, they only give it out to a certain few, which is fine. But so you just put it on YouTube, you know, finance it yourself, and then, you know, you get more people watching it than if you do, you know, people could rent it on Amazon Prime or something like that. Like my last few specials are on there. You put it out free on YouTube, you'll get more people to see it. So
yeah, that's true.
Now. Yeah,
I can't believe, like, even Mark Normand, I think he's one of the biggest comics right now. He couldn't get a Netflix special, right? Didn't he his go on YouTube as well? Or like Sam Morrill and
yeah. So, you know, Shane Gillis just released his on there, and yeah, that's the way people are doing it now, and that's fine. because then you don't have to worry about editing out jokes and the network go, that's a little too racy. Don't take that out. So
Yeah, and YouTube, they do. I mean, they pay okay for like views or whatever.
I think so. I don't know the exact formula with that, but at this point, it's like I want people to see it, and then we'll go from there. And hopefully, they come to the clubs, and you'll sell more tickets.
And then how does that work? Like, are you going to do some of the bits from this special in your routine when you tour, or do you is that you did that material and now you're doing totally different stuff?
Well, you got to build up a whole new set. So, you got to basically start from scratch once it comes out. So you just, slowly work in new material, take out older material, until you're at the point where you're not doing any of that stuff anymore. So that will be hopefully soon. But that's always what I always like doing, that just building. It's almost like a band, like, okay, let's go back in the recording studio and start from scratch because we're going to do a new record. So that's got to be exciting for them.
Yeah, but do you do some bits that are just like your greatest hits or whatever? Like, do you do? I mean, because I think you'd probably do like, I've never seen you live, but you do like, do you do special ed or stuff like that? Like just that are.
Not really, because it's weird. Like a comic, they never want to hear the same bit twice or three times. Unlike a band who they want the same songs every night, the hits. But it's comics like, oh yeah, I saw that material last time you were here. They'll remember. They're familiar with it. So that's why you got to always come up with new stuff, which I like doing. It's a lot harder, but I like that challenge.
No, it's really cool. Now, are you gonna? I think when I checked your website, you only had one show booked. Are you gonna do like now a tour to kind of help promote this?
No, because you don't do it like a band, because a band will promote their new album and do a lot of new songs off the record. So you don't really go out there to promote a special that you just put out, because people, once they watch it, they don't want to hear the same exact jokes when you go out and perform.
True.
So I have some stuff coming up. It's just not on my website right now, so I'm always on the road touring.
That's good. Yeah.
Not for a comic. Yeah.
I just recently saw your buddy Don Jamieson, and I think it was in Nashville this summer, and I'd never seen him, and I was like, oh, he's freaking great. Like, I need to see you guys, but I need to see you now.
Oh yeah, me and Don usually tour together. No, he's great too, man.
Oh, do you guys tour together? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we do a lot of shows together. Yeah, we'll probably come to Nashville at some point.
Okay. No, yeah, I live in Phoenix, but I was down there for an event. Do you come to Phoenix a lot?
Yeah, I do the House of Comedy in Phoenix.
Oh, I love that one.
Comedy club out there. Yeah, so I hope I haven't been out there since the lockdown, since the pandemic, but I should be out there sometime soon.
Okay. Yeah, I love, so your story is like, because you obviously are a big music fan and your brothers got you into music, and then you realize you're kind of like me quickly. Well, I don't know, how long did you last? Did you actually give it a shot with trying to play before you figured I can't do this?
Yeah, well, I was a lefty and all my friends were righty, a guitar. They're like, go, can you teach me? They're like, well, you got to turn the guitar around to play righty. And I couldn't play righty. And like, well, I don't know how to play lefty. But I didn't have an ear for music. I just didn't have it. I tried singing. I tried playing guitar, tried drums, but it just didn't work out for me. So then I started DJing, like in like rock clubs, be like the heavy metal DJ. I had my own DJ business. I was on the radio, local radio. And then eventually I fell into stand-up because I was like,
because of Sam Kinison, right? And Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, those two, as soon as they were like, you see like these guys are like rock stars. So, and I always wanted to be my own boss. I wasn't good at listening to people. And then when I got on like regular radio after college, I was on these local stations. They were always like, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. I'm like, oh, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, no, I used to work in education. That's freaking really bad because you can't say anything in front of kids. So then you have to like change it's really hard to censor yourself as a grown man.
No, I know. It's like, I don't feel like it. I've always just, I wanted to do it on my own and not listen to anybody.
Right. But so when you got into stand-up, I heard you say that you had stage fright and it took you a year to get on stage. So how did you bring yourself to do it? Alcohol, or what did you use as a...
No, I just figured at some point I'm gonna have to do. Yeah, I was always shy, so especially when I had to get in front of the class in high school or college, I would always be like, oh man, I was dreading public speaking. But then I just got to the point, I'm like, I just got to do it at some point. I'm like, because I was DJing, so, usually you're in a DJ booth, so you were kind of hidden. But then when I started doing like weddings and parties, I had to be out there. I'm like, all right, I just got to get over this.
Okay.
So once I went on stage, I'm like, all right, I had a lot of fear of me and stuff. But once you get that first laugh, it's worth it. You're like, oh, it's like, oh my God, that felt amazing to get a laugh. And then you're addicted to it.
Right. So even though there was some groans and some jokes fell flat, just one laugh was enough to you're like chasing that.
Yeah, exactly. It was almost like getting high for the first time. I got that one laugh the first time I went on stage. I didn't get it. And I was like, oh man, I could build off of that.
That's awesome. So now, like we were saying earlier with the woke stuff, like now how does that work with other comedians? Because I feel like so many other comedians are woke. Do you get along with other comedians, or are they ever offended by stuff that you say? Because like you must, perform when you do open mics and stuff with a bunch of other like comedians of totally different styles and things.
I don't pay attention to it. I do shows in New York with a bunch of comics that are, more liberal and stuff like that. We usually don't. I don't know. Like we don't usually watch each other's comedy sets. Like we're just hanging out, whatever. So we're around comedy so much, or we're not. I don't really watch other comics. I'm bored with it. I'm more focused on my own stuff. But I really don't care. Like if someone is a comic that doesn't agree with what I say, too bad. Maybe I don't agree with what they say, but I don't give a shit what they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it. I never worried about that, like what other comics are going to think.
No, that's
say my special. I don't live in Hollywood, so I don't care. I'm not trying to play their game.
Right. Yeah,
it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect me in one in the least.
But you must have some relationships with some of these comedians, like because Amy Silverberg, you were in her show and her movie and stuff. So
Amy Schumer.
Or what did I say?
Silverberg.
So that's another New York or LA comedian. Sorry. Well, yeah.
Sarah Silverman. Yeah, I know Sarah too. No, I'm friends with all of them. I got a lot of I got a lot of conservative friends. I got a lot of liberal friends. Comics and just in general life. We just don't. You don't bring that stuff up. And they don't tell me what to say, and I don't tell them what to say in their act.
That's good, yeah. Because I feel like I like hearing different. So I don't want everyone to be the same. I want to hear different. That's what I feel like the problem with comedy now. That's why I like yours, because it's something different, But I want everything. Every comedian should be different. I feel like there's too many comedians that are they're like a parodying the other comedians, and it's confusing to me.
That's why I just went in my own path. I just did what I thought was funny. And I wasn't listening. At times you were supposed to be really clean to try to get on TV. I'm like, no, that's not my thing. I just pretty much stuck to what I like doing, what I think is funny, and not worried about that stuff. So no, right. You never want to follow another. You could be inspired by a comic like Andrew Dice Clay and Kinnison when I first started, but for other comics to watch what the top comic is doing, well, I need to do that. Then you're just a watered down version of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Is there anybody that you think is like a really good comedian right now? Like, who do you think are some of the best comedians out there right now?
Well, of course, Bill Burr. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't care either. He just takes chances up there, and he's like, too bad. So.
So why is he not canceled? How does he not get canceled?
Yeah, because it's like, so we got to take a minute bit out of his routine and say, hey, this guy can't have anything, and. He's not he'll do some TV and movie roles and stuff like that, but he's not like all in Hollywood, hanging out at Hollywood parties. He's a stand-up comic at heart, performing in clubs and just slinging it out like just working it through. So, no, I just love it because he takes chances. He doesn't care.
No, he's great. He's definitely one of my favorites too. So
Nick DiPaolo was another one.
Who?
Nick DiPaolo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's great.
He doesn't care.
Yeah,
guys that don't care. That to me, to just push you. Doug Stanhope, another one. So those are guys that I kind of like. Jim Norton is another one.
Yeah, you guys are buddies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Howard Stern. I mean, that was like a guy that helped you kind of helped your career a lot, right? That helped kind of get you in the limelight.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was he totally made my career. So.
Oh, you feel like he made your career?
Yeah, without a doubt, when I went on that show, because it was pretty much unknown, and then I got on there and I got all this exposure.
How did he find you? Was he a fan of your comedy?
One of the producers, Casey Armstrong, was one of the guys I was friends with, and he saw me at a comedy club. He's like, dude, your stuff is good. I'm going to see if I can get you on the show. So I just gave him a bunch of my material, my comedy and my prank calls. And they presented like, oh, this guy's funny. Let's have him in. So basically just worked like that.
Oh, and then did that lead to Opie and Anthony, or were you already on that one?
No, I was on the Stern show. And then later on, I went on Opie and Anthony's show.
Yeah, that's another big one. That's great. That's interesting. But now it feels like radio is just kind of dying out. It's like the podcast game is the big thing right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's hardly, there's a few around the country. like morning radio shows that still do pretty well. But yeah, that's not the formula now. Like Joe Rogan is like the new Howard Stern.
Yeah.
On Joe Rogan, and then you go on there a few times, and then you're a star.
Yeah, you got to be on Rogan, and it was like 2015. But I was listening to some of that, and it's great. I'm a fan of Rogan. Are you a fan of Rogan?
Oh yeah, I love Rogan. Yeah, he's a great guy. He takes care of comics, and all that stuff. And yeah, he's a good dude. And yeah, I don't know him that well. When he started, he originally started comedy in Boston, and then he came to New York, and he was only in New York for maybe like 2 years before he got news radio back in the day. So then he went to LA. So I'm a New York-based guy. So I worked with him a little bit, and then I would see him out in LA and all that stuff. We got a lot of mutual friends. So, but it was great going on his podcast.
Yeah. No, that's another guy that, and I don't even say, because people say that he's a right-wing nut, but he claims to be a liberal. I think he's kind of in between, but it's like a different voice. You know what I mean? It's like somebody being independent.
They don't like anyone, either side doesn't like anyone that might say something that doesn't agree with them.
Right.
It drives people crazy. You have to take that one side and that's it, and never criticize anything from that side.
Yeah,
he takes both sides, and it gets people mad. It's like, whatever, who cares? Like, now all of a sudden you can't have an opinion anymore.
Right, but so don't you think there's a voice? I mean, there's an audience for that kind of voice, because I think he's the number one podcaster. He's up there.
Oh, he's definitely the number one. He's been number one for a long time. Yeah, I mean, people listen to his show understand. It's just like, he's in the news every day because, they take like 2 lines that he said out of his podcast and go, can you believe he said this?
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. So when I had Don Jamieson on here, it was so funny. He was telling me the story about how you guys, when you first got that metal show, how you and him were just like fucking around and like joking and shit. And Eddie Trunk was like, you guys, stop it. You're going to blow this for me. Like, is that your recollection of that too?
Yeah, well, he was like, try to be a little, when we go in for a meeting to try to get this show, don't be pulling pranks and doing, silly stuff, but kind of be professional, even though we weren't, because we're just ball busters. So he's like, look, I haven't in there. We know people there. So just, behave. We were like 2 children. But that's what they liked about us, VH1. They're like, hey, these guys are ball busters. They'll fuck around. They do, they wanted kind of like a loose show.
Yeah.
So that's why it wound up working.
Yeah, no, I love like, there's so many clips of you and Dawn, like on these like local TV stations, just fucking with the TV. Do you rehearse those ahead of time, or is it just all off the cuff?
No, it's we just have an idea. All right, we don't know how it's going to go because they have to react. So yeah, we always just trying to do that. We do a lot of prank calls, like terrorizing telemarketers.
Yeah.
Telemarketers. We got a bunch of those too. We're actually working on a new record now. Actually still doing it. So, but yeah, we're just good at, I don't know, we got the same sense of humor, and we're just good at, if you're from New Jersey, the East Coast, that's what you do. You just bust balls. That's how when you grow up, that's all you know.
Do you think that that's kind of missing in this generation though? I feel like, you can't do that. It's like they call it like bullying now. And it's like, you're not being sensitive, and like, you can't bust anybody's balls.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a fine line because there is bullying, obviously.
Sure.
But there's a fine line where it's, I always say it's like our weird way of showing you affection. That means we like you. Like if you walk in the room and you're wearing a bad shirt, we're going to make fun of the shirt for like 10 minutes. That means we like you. If we don't say anything, then we're indifferent.
Exactly.
So that's our weird way of showing affection instead of a hug. Like,
yeah.
So, and once you can get it, I think it makes you tougher. But look, there is a fine line of bullying. You don't want to make fun of somebody and it's when it's mean spirited and stuff like that, but just a regular ball. But a lot of people take it the wrong way. The younger generation doesn't understand it. They never came up with it.
Right. So it's like, yeah, because to me, it's like your intent. I mean, if it's your friend and you're just trying to, like you said, bust balls, that's different than if I just walk up to someone I don't know and I'm trying to like make them feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Everything is, but like I said, I just like performing in comedy clubs. You could say what you want. You could do what you want. You could dress the way you want. You're your own boss, and nobody really cares what you say.
Yeah.
People aren't walking out. They're not offended. So that's what I focus on.
No, that's great. Well, I was going to,
other stuff is just like noise to me. It's like, whatever. I don't just ignore it.
Well, I was going to ask you too, when you and Don do those things on like the morning TV, how do you not laugh? Cause I'm like just cracking up. Like, how do you keep a straight face? Cause Don's like playing the straight man a lot of times. And well, you both are, you're both kind of like playing it seriously. That's what makes it so funny. because you're not smiling. The host is laughing like awkwardly usually or nervously, and you guys just play it straight.
Because I don't know. We're just good at holding it in, and because if you start laughing, then the joke is over. They know you're messing with them.
Exactly.
So we always play like, nah, it's same with our prank calls. We're just trying to get the information. I don't know. So we're just good at it. I don't know, for some reason, because when you're a ball buster and you're making people uncomfortable, once you laugh, it's over.
Yeah, no, that's genius. That's what I love about that. I think that's what makes it is you guys don't laugh. And it's like they're trying to laugh and they're like, "You're joking, right?" And then you guys just you stay with it. And didn't you get kicked off of one of the escorted out of one of the TV stations?
That was the one where they told us, the guy that brought us in there from the comedy club, he goes, "Look, this is a family show, so just be nice, don't be too controversial, because it's a family show. It's one of those local morning things." It was in Kansas City. I said, "Yeah, no problem." And then we go, "Hey, let's do this thing where you pretend like you slept with my fiance. Let's kind of just wing it and bring it up somehow." And then we just go from there. We don't know how it's going to go, where we could fit it in the interview, but we got it in.
No, that was.
And then they were really mad afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah, they were like, "Okay, you can come this way," and they just took our mics off and just basically just walked us out of the building because the guy from the comedy club was still in there. He was looking for us, and he comes out like 10 minutes later. He goes, he's yelling at us, "What's wrong with you guys?" He's like, "Where were you?" I go, "They escorted us out, so we just waited outside. We knew we couldn't come back in."
But that thing's got a lot of hits on YouTube, so I think it was worth it.
Oh yeah, it was always worth it. Yeah, I mean, the local morning radio show played it the next day and stuff. It was a big thing.
No, that's awesome. I forget you did a cameo or you have a small role in one of my favorite movies, Beer League.
Yeah.
Tell me about working on that movie because I think that's such an underrated, great flick.
There's so many good lines in that movie.
Yes,
it really is. I know, it's so funny. I mean, look, I'm good friends with Artie Lang, and I grew up in New Jersey. So did Artie, and Artie played softball, beer softball, and so did I. And we used to always talk about it. So when they wrote the script, he's like, "Oh man, I got to get you in this movie somehow." So I wound up playing the catcher, and I was in about 2 or 3 scenes. So it was great. I loved doing it. And that's like the East Coast. You got the hot girlfriend. They're hanging out in the stands, watching the game. And then you go to the local bar afterwards and you get drunk. It was perfect.
You're right. There's so many good lines. Like when he's in the diner and he's doing the order and. I don't want to give it away. People need to watch it though. I mean, I guess again, it goes back to like, maybe it's not PC, but I think it's hilarious.
No, it's great. No, and people that, saw the movie really liked it. And, no, it's, people like that kind of humor. They keep trying to force feed this, like, this bullshit, like nothing's edgy anymore down our throats. And people, you see that, the movies don't do well. The TV shows don't do well that do that stuff.
That's what's so interesting. I was trying to think, like, what is the funniest movie of even the last, say, 10 years? Like, if you try to ask people what's the funniest movie, like the last funny movie you saw, I feel like everything was like around from like 2010. People say like Tropic Thunder or The Hangover, or like there hasn't really been that many great comedies in the last 10 years.
If I see a movie like pops up on Netflix or wherever, and it says like made in like 2020, 2021, I don't even watch it. I'm like, it's going to be terrible. It won't be funny. It won't be edgy at all. So I don't even watch it.
You should write a script, or you and Don should write a script for a movie.
Nobody's going to take it.
Really?
Yeah. Why would they?
But there's so many.
Who's gonna make that movie? You think Hollywood's going to make that movie where we're busting balls and saying inappropriate stuff?
No, but isn't there a lot of independent companies out there now that are doing stuff like?
No,
but there should be.
Nobody's taking a chance.
But see, that's what I'm saying. If somebody does, I feel like it's gonna go through the roof.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there's a market for it.
I'm not a screenwriter. I tell dick jokes on comedy stages. You know what I mean? So I don't know anything about that stuff.
What about, so Crank Yankers, we got to talk about that. Special Ed, that's obviously one of your most famous characters, and the other character, Bobby Fletcher, the alcoholic slob, is that character based on anyone in real life?
I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm definitely a slob, and I could burp. I'm rude and ignorant, and that's what the character is. That character basically comes from my prank call CDs, terrorizing telemarketers, where I'm just, obnoxious and rude, and I'll be burping or whatever like that. So I just changed the name, but that's basically me with a different name, a character name.
Right. And so I'm always fascinated by how you guys get the people, because don't you have to call back and ask for permission to use the recording?
Yeah.
So what's the percentage of how many people say, no, you can't use that?
I think it's like, I don't know, because I don't do the callbacks. They have
Oh,
people at Comedy Central do it at some point. They don't call right, maybe they won't call right back. I heard it's like around 90% they'll give permission.
oh, okay. So that's not bad. But so, and if they didn't, then you would just do the same bit with a different person.
Yeah, but you have to get a reaction from them. The person on the other end is the star of the call, because if they don't react to whatever you're trying to do or say, it's not a good call. So, it's not that easy to recreate. You get that moment sometimes where it's perfect.
Yeah, no, totally. It's so funny. I was reading your Wikipedia today, and I don't know how I missed this before, but it was like, it said in 2007, you appeared on an episode of The Apprentice doing your edgy stand-up comedy at a conservative charity event. He asked Trump's partner, George, if he wears a diaper. He has not appeared on The Apprentice since.
Oh, I didn't even know. Is that on my Wikipedia?
Yeah, it was like, it sounds like you wrote it or something. It's like so funny.
It was a live, it was like the last episode. I wasn't a big, I didn't watch The Apprentice, but I got booked on it. It was I guess the last episode was always live.
Okay.
So the guy was doing a charity event who was left, and a comedy charity event. So they had the cameras on. I was like, all right, listen, you got to be clean. It's a lot of, uptight people, whatever like that. And George, I guess George is an old guy on there with his wife. He goes, he's going to be sitting in the front. So whatever you do, just don't pick on him. So just do your jokes, but make sure they're clean. I'm like, as soon as I heard that, and I'm like, live TV, please. So I went right at him as soon as I went up there. Hey, is this guy George? You're right here. Your wife? Yeah. And I just asked him if he's wearing a diaper and all that stuff. And they were cutting to the guy backstage. I told him not to do it. What's wrong with him? Like yelling and stuff. I'm like, I don't care.
It's almost like when they tell you not to do something, you're gonna do it every time.
Yeah, it's something like that. And especially when I knew it was live. I'm like, and meanwhile, that guy George, he was laughing at the stuff. Like I knew he'd have a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's cool. And then you did an episode of Californication. Are you a fan of that show? Because I've seen every episode of that show. That's such a great show.
Yeah, I was. And the creator of it was a big metalhead.
Yeah, that's right.
So he always watched that metal show when I was out in California. And my manager set up a meeting with him, and we just sat. And he's like, I'm going to come up with a role for you. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And then I wound up playing a pimp on the last season in an episode.
I'm trying to remember which one that was. I'm going to have to rewatch that. But yeah, that's cool. That's such a great show. I could watch that like every day. Just rewatch it.
Great. Yeah, it was, and it was, I love the show too. But I wound up doing the last season, whatever the last season was. I did an episode. So
yeah, but then the one I definitely remember was your episode. Everybody has to remember this. The episode of Louie that you did. That was so memorable. That's one of my favorite episodes of that show. And I'm assuming now, did Louie handpick you for that role?
Well, there was a prank phone call that Louie knew of mine where this guy was trying to sell me some toilet stuff or something, some septic stuff. And I said in the prank call, yeah, I got to, I have to take an upper decker in my toilet after I go to the bathroom in the top because it's clogged or whatever like that. And Louie always thought that was so funny. He's like, man, I love that. That's so funny, the upper decker thing. And then all of a sudden he's like, he gets, 5-10 years later, he's like, I got a part for you in my TV show. I wrote it just for you. And he's like, I know you're on the road, so you know this annoying comic that's just a dick. You have to share a condo with. Can you play this guy? I go, yeah, because I've been Louie in those situations where the guy's annoying, and he's just, bothering me. I just want to hang out in my room and all that stuff. And then somehow Louie intertwined the upper decker thing into the scene too. That's where I die.
Yeah. No, so wait, did you coin the phrase upper decker?
No, I never did. It was around.
Okay.
Me and my friends used to always do it. We just go to, take a dump in the top of the tank.
Wait, you actually did this?
Oh yeah.
At who? Like at someone's house or like at a
house parties, Applebee's, Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. God, I missed that show. I know. Do you think Louie got kind of a raw deal that he got canceled? I mean, it's bad, but like, can we forgive him? Because I miss Louie. I miss that show. I miss his stand-up. He's back doing stand-up, right?
Oh, yeah. He put a special out about a year ago, right? Like March 2020. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
On his website. He just filmed another one that's coming out soon. And he's up for a Grammy this year. So I think he's making a comeback. The Grammy's actually, he's he's up for one for Best Comedy Album.
I missed that show, though. Was that the...
No, it was great. That was the last episode he ever did, was my episode.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that was the last one. Damn.
Yeah.
And they can't bring you back because you die in the show. But
yeah, I know. And I don't know if he's ever going to do the show again, but I hope it gets back onto like a streaming platform.
yeah.
You really can't find any. They took all of his stuff down, but they're starting to put his stuff back up.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
the HBO series Lucky Louie is on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll put his FX series up somewhere.
Oh yeah, I love that show because it was funny, but then also it was super depressing at the same. It was like brilliant because it was just so. Yeah. It was how life is. Life is like can be like really funny one minute and like super depressing and like sad the next.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that was great. Your podcast, Everybody is Awful. I heard you say, have you been doing that 11 years?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2011. I started. So it'll be coming up in 11 years. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Like that, you got into the podcast game early then. That's smart.
Yeah. I always, I don't know, a couple comics were doing it at the time. And I was just like, you know what? I think this might work. It might be able to build an audience and all that stuff. And it's been doing well. You know, I've been doing it for this long and stuff. I love doing it. It's fun.
You just do it from your kitchen table too, right?
Yeah, I mean, or I could do it on the road or whatever like that, but it's pretty much me just on the podcast for myself, just ranting about usually stupid people on social media and their dumb posts.
Oh yeah, seriously. Okay, so let's talk about that with social media. With the selfies. You're not big on the selfies. My buddy just had a relationship fall apart, and he said, if you see a girl with like her Instagram is all selfies, run.
Well, I just don't like that word. I don't think anyone over 17 should use that word. It's for like children. So just that word annoys me. You know, you could just go, hey, I want to take a picture here. Just,
yeah,
got nobody, like stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's like mental illness when you see someone's page and it's all just pictures of themselves up close that they took. It really is like there's something wrong with that person.
It's interesting. And then like the other one that I see a lot of is like when you see the couples, the kissy faces and the posts about, oh, I love this person so much. I think if I think back of every example of the people that overpost that kind of stuff, every time the relationship ends and it ends badly.
Of course. And then all of a sudden all the pictures are scrubbed away and they're usually just trying to, the guy is basically saying, hey, this is my girlfriend. Don't leave her alone. Like, hey, don't try to sleep with her behind my back because we're together. And then the girl, or to trying to get back at an ex, you know, an ex. Like, hey, I moved on. They know the ex is stalking them on social media, maybe under a different name or whatever. So they're going to go, hey, look, I found somebody new. You know, and you know, this guy does shit with me. You know, he'll go pick apples. You wouldn't. Take a picture of them, you know, picking apples or some shit.
Are you even on Facebook? Or I know you have an Instagram, but you're not real super active on that stuff.
No, because it's just like I just live my life. You know, so I was saying something. I had like some like rock guys on my Christmas tree. I was telling this the radio show. They're like, yeah, oh, you have a picture of it on Instagram? I go, no, why would I take a picture of my fucking Christmas tree and put it on Instagram? You know, and when I got to plug gigs or I got some comedy stuff or whatever, but it's like I don't live my life online. I don't think people are really going to give a shit. You know what I mean? Like people think that they really do care, other people, when they post their whole lives, you know, their vacation. You know, they got to document their whole vacation. I'm at the airport now. And they take a picture of the airport, then on the plane, you know, and then at the hotel. Yeah, great. You know, and then they got to take a picture of their first drink. Great. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, because I never did that. I never took a plane and had a fucking drink on vacation. You know?
Well, no, but it definitely can be useful for promoting like a special or something like that. I feel like that's kind of the point. I feel like maybe people just overpost, but like, yeah, it's good that you can let everyone know about your special and stuff like that. Then it makes sense.
That, yeah, and to promote, you know, comedy shows or whatever like that, promote yourself. Yeah. But as far as, you know, documenting my life, it's like, it's not that exciting. And anyone else that's posting their pictures, they're not exciting either. They think they might be, you know, when they, you know, someone cooks a meal at home and then they, you know, take a picture of it. Like, what do you want me to do with that?
Well, and also it seems like people are following when social media started, you know, you had like 100 or 200 friends or whatever, but now it's like people follow so many pages and like on Instagram, you see these people and they're following like 10,000 people. It's like, you're not going to see everybody's posts. And I'm sure even with your follow, you have however many followers you have thousands. Like, do people even see all your posts because they're following so many other people?
Yeah. I don't know how that works.
It's crazy.
I just keep it to a minimum. It's like my Twitter and Instagram got hacked like a few weeks ago, and I didn't have it for a month.
Oh,
And
really?
I didn't miss anything. I think I missed my friend posted a picture of his chili that he made in his crock pot. That's it.
Okay, so then what do you think about this metaverse? Have you followed this at all? I have a couple of friends that say this thing is going to be the next biggest thing, and it kind of scares me because I feel like social media is already a little bit of an escape from reality, and this thing would be, a full on like you're totally removed from reality.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Facebook has now changed their name to Meta, and they're starting this thing called the Metaverse, and it's basically like they call it like the Internet 2.0 or whatever, where you put on these, like, it's like virtual reality. I think you put on the goggles and stuff, and then you go in and like they're saying like, oh yeah, you would go to a movie with your friends in the metaverse. I'm like, this makes zero sense. Wouldn't you just go to a movie with your friends in real life? I don't understand the difference.
So wait, so you put the glasses on, then the other friends have to put the glasses on too?
So like they're in their homes and you're in your home, but then you guys are like in this metaverse together, like, and you can hang out and watch a movie, or you can go to a sporting event or a concert, or, because I think it started with the pandemic. Everybody's doing things online and on Zoom and stuff. And this would be like, it's like 3.0. It's like virtual reality where you have the goggles. And so then you can move and it's like 3D. I don't know.
The virtual reality stuff's been around for so long. Like they always thought it was going to take off, and it never has. And this thing sounds stupid. It's not going to take off either.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to a Slipknot concert with my friends by putting a pair of glasses on and sitting on my kitchen table. I want to be at the fucking show.
Right. Yeah. It's totally different experience. Like, even like watching a football game on TV and being at a football game. I mean, that is completely different. I don't think they can recapture that with virtual reality.
No, they're just trying to do something different because people leaving Facebook in droves. So they're trying to change it up and seeing how they can keep people. So maybe, who knows?
Yeah. So, I mean, you like going to concerts, but you're also like, you have these rants. What are some of your concert annoyances? You said people recording with phones, people with big heads. What else?
Well, especially with the phone, you know what I mean? They got the phone up right in front of you and you're trying to see, and I got to look through this guy's phone to see the stage. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you're filming Don't Stop Believing when Journey's doing on the encore. It's like, okay, what are you going to do with that? You're going to bring it to the construction site the next day? Oh, you want to see Journey play on my shaky phone?
Right.
I was drunk and I was in the friggin' 80th row. We're like, no, there's better footage on YouTube, professionally shot. So that drives me nuts. Everybody's got their phone in the air. I'm like, you want to get a quick picture, a quick video, just get it and put your phone down.
Yeah, no, some people will literally hold, I think, like, doesn't their arm get tired from their holding it? Like, maybe they need a helmet or something, because they're like, some people will just literally hold their phone the entire show. I feel like their arm would get tired after a while. I don't know how they do that.
It's dumb. I've been to a bunch of shows. I'm not going to, record a song and then watch it the next day and tell my friends, oh man, you got to watch this. They weren't there. It's not the same feel.
Right. Totally different.
It's like the guy that posts a picture of his steak at the steak restaurant and puts it on Facebook. It's like, okay, I'm not going to write because I'm not there. I can't taste that steak, so that means nothing to me.
What about people who sing at concerts? Like, does that? Because I'm guilty of that. I sometimes I'll sing along. I just can't help it. Like, I just get so into the music, I start singing along.
I got no problem with that. Absolutely, I'll sing along too. Yeah, no, that's no problem. Even if people want to dance, I'm not a dancer, obviously, but that's fine. If you're moving to the music, you're into it.
Yeah. No, I saw John Corabi a couple nights ago. He was doing kind of like a storyteller's thing. And people were like literally talking during his. I was like, why did you come to the concert if you're gonna have a conversation? That one makes no sense to me at all.
And Karabi's really funny, man.
Yeah,
he's funny, man. He could be a comic.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think I heard you say that was kind of one of your inspirations was Dee Snider with his little quips and stuff like in between songs.
Yeah, well, which was his sister before they made it. They would play in the club scene and. In the area where I lived in Jersey and stuff, and they would have to do like 4 sets a night. So it was a lot of time. So D would just do these rants for like 10 minutes. So the band would take a break or whatever like that. He'd just be up there in between songs and, making the audience laugh. I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. I was like 15 sneaking in the bars watching. It was great.
That sounds amazing. Is there any music that you're listening to, like any current new bands or current albums that you're listening to right now that you're loving?
The latest Dirty Honey record. I like those guys.
Oh,
out of
yeah.
California, young band. They just opened for the Black Crowes, and now they're going to open for Mammoth,
Oh,
the Wolfgang
yeah.
band. Yeah, they're on the tour with it. They're going to start up in like a month or so.
Okay, yeah, I need to see them. I saw Mammoth open for Guns N' Roses, and I was like, kind of heard some of their songs on the radio. This is pretty good. They're really good live. They're actually like, they sound great.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see him on that, so I'm going to see that tour. And I don't know what else. There's a band, Blackberry Smoke, I like. They're more like Southern rock.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that on that metal show. That was the first time I think I heard about that band that you introduced me. I was like, oh, these guys are really good.
They're good songwriters. It's almost like Lynyrd Skynyrd meets like Black Crowes, Tom Petty. I like that kind of stuff too. But then also I love, heavy stuff like Slipknot, Hatebreed, Fear Factory. I like stuff like that too.
How do you find music now? Because I feel like in a way it's so easy because there's so many outlets with YouTube and social media, but then it's like so flooded. It's like, how do you sort through all the crap to find the good stuff?
I don't really search it out. Sometimes I saw Dirty Honey at some festival last year or 2 years ago on like a small stage. I'm like, man, these guys are good. So I don't really search it out. I'm not looking. I got so much music to listen to anyway. I love going back and listen to old stuff. So, if a band pops on my radar, somebody tells me about them, I'll check them out. So that's just how it usually works.
Yeah, and you and I are both big Steel Panther fans.
Oh yeah, these guys are great.
Yeah. That's like and it's funny because I was like, dude, I'm like worried they might I hope they don't get canceled. They are so not PC, but I feel like, again, it goes back to if you know what you're getting in for, then you would expect it.
They won't. There's no way they will because they got their built-in audience already, and the people that get it and understand what they're doing are not offended and stuff. So they won't. They'll be around for a while. Those guys are great, though. I've been seeing them for years, even before they got big. They used to play every Monday night at the Key Club. It was not the Key Club. It might have been.
No, it was the Key Club. I think you're right.
Okay, yeah, every Monday night. I used to, when I was ever in LA, I'd like, you got to go to this.
Yeah, I used to go see them in Vegas. They used to play the House of Blues. It started out every Saturday, or every other Saturday or something, third Saturday, whatever it was, and it started out free, and then it was like $20. Now it's like you have to pay a full concert ticket. But yeah, when it was free, it was amazing. And then the funny thing about them is, like, my girlfriend probably gets sick of it, but I like to go because every time it's a different show. Like, I don't know how they do it, but every time they come up with new shit, I'm like, I don't know if it's just they're making it up as they go or they script it every night or what, but it's hilarious.
No, they're great, man. It was the first time like that I saw when I would see them in LA on a Monday night. Like, there was hot girls at the show, and that was missing in rock music for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the metal and the rock shows, the girls just weren't into it. Young girls, like now, it was back in the '80s. They all were. And I saw Steel Panther. I'm like, man, they're actually bringing hot girls to a show instead of just a bunch of dudes like every other concert I go to. So that's what I really liked about them too. And the girls that went understood it was a joke and thought it was funny,
Right. Yeah. No, it's tough because, I mean, in real life, I think the singer's like married and stuff. It's all just a joke. It's like, that's what I don't think people understand is like, it's a joke. It's funny. That's what comedy is. The intent is not to hurt people. It's to make people laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I've been a fan of those guys for a long time.
Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Well, I know you got to get going here. So I'll wrap this up. There was a charity and something about a suicide charity that you want to promote here at the end.
American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Okay.
That's a good one for anyone that's got some problems and stuff like that. So
okay, I'll put that in the notes along with your website and the special. It's called Bite the Bullet, I believe. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Bite the Bullet.
Bite the Bullet
song.
Yeah, it's free.
Song. Yeah.
What's that?
It's a Motorhead song called Bite the Bullet.
Yeah, it's free on YouTube, so there's no reason why people shouldn't watch it. It's great, and I like too that it's like you didn't go too long. It's like 45 minutes. It's like perfect.
That's it. It's sometimes I'll do an hour in a club, but it's like 45 minutes is fine. That's really what like a headliner in a comedy club does is 45 minutes. So I don't need to babble on for an hour and a half. Just keep it short, tight, and to the point. It's youtube.com/Jim Florentine Comedy. It's there for free to watch.
Yeah, and then they can subscribe to your YouTube channel, and you have clips of it too, so they can get a sample if they aren't ready to watch the full thing. Yep, very cool. Well, thanks so much for doing this. I look forward to seeing you if you could hit Phoenix at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, hopefully I'll be out there soon.
Yeah, I'll bring some friends because I know a lot of people, like I said, that would really enjoy your comedy. Be refreshing.
I would love to, man. Phoenix is a great market for comedy. I've been going out there for years.
Yeah, very cool. All right, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, man.
I'll see you later.
All right.
So there you go, Jim Florentine. The special is called Bite the Bullet. just click the link in the show notes and subscribe to Jim's YouTube channel. And while you're on YouTube, if you could hit the subscribe button for me, if you're watching this video, it should be easy. But there's a link as well. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that will really help me out. And if you hit that bell on YouTube, you'll be notified of new episodes that I have coming up. I plan to have lots of great interviews in 2022. I'm going to take this show to the next level, and YouTube is going to be the focus. I'm really going to try to increase the visuals and that portion of the show. You can follow both Jim and I on social media as well, and you'll get good, solid content from both of us, not an overabundance of selfies. So thank you to Jim for doing the show. Thank you to all of you for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and remember to shoot for the moon.